And it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line. And the ball is caught! Caught!
The sophomore slump. One of the biggest conspiracies within the sports community. The sophomore slump is usually referring to a decline in performance or motivation during the second year of a player. While many argue it may be a myth, as data may actually suggest that a lot of players improve or at least stay steady within their second year, it leaves a lot of fans wondering, what is the sophomore slump? And is there any truth behind it? Some of the most notorious cases of the sophomore slump within recent years is C.J. Stroud, quarterback of the Houston Texans. In Stroud's rookie campaign, he took the league by storm, shattering previous rookie records held by Justin Herbert not too far before him. In Stroud's 2023 season, he threw for over 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions, holding up a passer rating over 100. And while his completion percentage remained nearly identical as the previous season, the rest of his stats did not. Stroud had jumped down to 3,700 passing yards, only 20 touchdowns, and over double his interceptions with 12. But the biggest problem of all, his rating dropped to an 87. Now, based purely off stats, the argument could be made that C.J. Stroud did in fact have a sophomore slump. But sports don't revolve around stats, they revolve around context. One of the most important losses for the Houston Texans happened week 13 when Tank Dell fractured his fibula, ending his season prematurely. This, combined with Nico Harris's on and off injuries throughout the season, significantly declined Stroud's receiver room. One of Stroud's guards, Kenyon Green, out for the season, and that area may have been the weakest link leading to Stroud's decline. In the 2023 season, Stroud's rookie year, Texans allowed a pressure rate of only 35.3, ranked 14th in the NFL. While in 2024, Stroud's second year, it was up and around 38%, placing them at 27th, bottom 5 in the league. Going from top 14 to bottom 5 made a huge impact on Stroud's success and ability to throw. It was clear that one of the problems he had was holding on to the ball a little bit too long. Stroud took 38 sacks in 2023. That put Stroud at 8th among all quarterbacks in only his rookie year. CBS Sports lists his time to throw as 3.11 seconds, ranking him 29th among QBs. While some may take this as Stroud having more time to throw, it actually suggests that he may be holding on longer than he needed to. This trend is not uncommon among NFL quarterbacks. The rookie year is a year for development. It's not unusual for a player to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Despite all these things, Stroud still had an amazing rookie year. So what happened in the second? 2024, C.J. Stroud was sacked a whopping 52 times, second to only Caleb Williams, who was sacked 68 times. His average time to throw was almost identical to 2023. It was less about Stroud's holding the ball and more about the struggle within his O-line. The Texans are a very pass-heavy offense under Bobby Slowick, and they remained so in both Stroud's first and second years. The 2023 and 2024 Texans game plan and QB play was almost identical, but with Stroud's phenomenal rookie year, many had high expectations for him within the NFL community. Seeing a decline in Stroud's play led a lot of fans to believe that he may be having a down year, but it was evident that the Texans' inability to stay healthy, mixed with very poor O-line play, was the true reasoning for their lack of success on offense. Now yes, Stroud may not have played as perfect as he did in his rookie year, but the term sophomore slump simply didn't apply. Instead, it was just a term that NFL fans use to propagate and give reason to Stroud's decline instead of just listening to the reasoning and facts. Stroud's rookie year and sophomore year both ended in a single playoff win. While the first win in his sophomore year wasn't nearly as convincing, the 2024 Chargers, led by Justin Herbert, were a far greater opponent than the 2023 Cleveland Browns, led by an aging Joe Flacco. Third-party factors are almost always the reason for or QB's down play, injuries, bad O-line play, different coordinators, and most importantly, teams just having more film. And Stroud isn't the only case. One of the biggest names now thrown up for consideration in the sophomore slump is Washington Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels. In Daniels' rookie season, he threw over 3,500 yards, completed nearly 70% of his passes, 25 touchdowns to a 9 interception ratio, and over 100 rating. The Washington Commanders finished with a 12-5 record and won 2 playoff games in Daniels' rookie year before losing in the conference finals. Daniels was crowned Rookie of the Year and broke the NFL record for the most Pepsi Rookie of the Year weeks in NFL history. It was clear to fans that Jayden Daniels was not like the rest. However, with greatness comes a lot of pressure. Daniels was subjugated to that pressure in the 2025 season. Through 7 weeks, Jayden Daniels has missed 2 games with a knee injury, and it's looking like he's going to miss some more with the recent hamstring injury against the Cowboys. Daniels' stats through 5 games out of 7 weeks, he sits at over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and a 97 rating. However, the Washington Commanders sit at a 3-4 record, 2-3 with Daniels playing through 7 weeks of football. People have already subjugated Daniels to the term sophomore slump. However, last season, his rookie year, through 7 weeks, he had 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. It's important to mention that he played around 6.5 games in comparison to this year, where he played around 4.5. Only 300 more yards, 1 more touchdown, and another interception in more than 2 games played. Daniels is on pace to clear his rookie stats by a long shot. However, many are scrutinizing him for the lack of success that the Washington Commanders have had. But just like CJ Stroud, third-party reasonings are more so to blame than the quarterback play itself. The Washington Commanders' offense does not seem to be the issue. The issue resides on the defense. Similarly to Stroud, whose offensive line seemed to be the problem, Washington's defense seems to be holding them back from winning games. They are ranked 29th in the NFL, but more importantly, they have an inability to create turnovers. The lack of success for Washington is very heavily associated to the lack of success defensively. In fact, with Daniels, Washington's rushing attack is top 5 in the NFL. And with 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, a 97 rating, and only 1 interception, it's clear that Daniels is not the problem. Instead of looking at 2 players who are labeled with the term sophomore slump, it's even easier to look at those who have broken that curse. In Lamar's second year, he threw over 3,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 113 rating, and won a unanimous MVP. In Burrow's sophomore year, over 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 108 rating, 70 completion percentage, and made the Super Bowl, ultimately falling short against the Los Angeles Rams. Drake May in his sophomore year through 7 weeks, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 116 rating with a 75 completion percentage. May through 7 weeks has won 5 games. That's the same amount that he won in totality in his rookie year. Through 7 weeks, May only has 500 less yards than his rookie year, only 3 less touchdowns, and his rating is through the roof. When we look at players like Burrow, Lamar, and May, who have had clear success in their sophomore years in comparison to players like Daniels and Stroud, who have been labeled as struggling in their sophomore years, it's important to note the distinction between them. May, Lamar, and Burrow were in consistent offenses in terms of health and regularity. In fact, most people saw upgrades. Burrow was given Jamar Chase, the Ravens saw upgrades defensively, and Drake May was given Stephon Diggs. It's important to note these things when we talk about sophomore slumps in order to compare situations and see the reality behind team struggles and team success. There are far too many inconsistencies in the sophomore slumps criteria, and almost all decline can always be expedited to a third party. Daniels dealing with one of the worst defenses and injuries, Stroud with injuries and one of the worst offensive lines, Herbert with the lack of continuity within the roster and the coaching, and many other cases which almost never fall on the shoulders of quarterbacks. Once Herbert eclipsed his sophomore year, he became more consistent, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, it wasn't because he was no longer in his sophomore year, because Herbert finally had a consistent offense, his team was healthy, and the Chargers were able to make good coaching changes. Same thing can be said about Stroud as we see his third year. The sophomore slump isn't a real thing. It's just a ploy used by NFL fans around the world in order to attribute a lack of success of players towards something greater than them. It truly is just a myth. And besides Caleb Williams, the sophomore slump isn't a real thing. But by all means, NFL fans continue to hold traditions of made-up lies, of made-up terms, in order to feed into already delusional fan bases. Because let's be real, what's football without some superstitions?